we're starting our unit on the 4 sentence structures. There are 4 sentence structures that absolutely every sentence in the universe is constructed through. And so the 4 sentence structures that we'll be learning about are the simple sentence structure, number 2, the compound sentence structure, number 3, complex, and number 4, something crazy called the compound complex sentence structure. Today, to start nice and easy, we'll just start with the simple sentence. Please have your notes sheet out in front of you and follow along as we go ahead and make some incredible observations about the simple sentence. So your note sheet looks like this. The first thing it says is simple sentence. I'd like to add that this is actually what I like to call the simple sentence. Because when we talk about the simple sentence, it's anything but simple. There are actually 4 different versions of the simple sentence, which doesn't seem that simple in the end. So the first one's called the simple sentence, but it's more simple than that. So it's the simple sentence. So in parentheses, I want you to write the simple sentence. The qualities that we need to know about the simple sentence are easy. First of all, anytime you have a simple sentence, it is one expression, one complete thought. So the first thing we need to know about a simple sentence is it really only expresses one complete thought. No more, no less. One thought, but it's the whole thought. Doesn't leave you hanging, doesn't leave you with questions. You feel satisfied, you say to yourself, that there was a good sentence. I got it. I know who did what. So that's part B. When you have read this complete thought, the reader is satisfied by what he hears, and he does not have any questions about who did what. Now, when we're talking about the simple sentence, the ingredients are, well, simple. We have a subject doing a verb. The example I've given you is this. The student learned about simple sentences. Whenever we're looking at a sentence, we should always locate all the verbs first. So I say to myself, well, what's the verb of this sentence? Learned. I say, well, who's doing the learning? The student. So I have the student learned. By the way, about simple sentences is a prepositional phrase, and I'm going to kill it. Bye-bye now. I have a subject doing a verb. What I'd like you to do is also add a big, nasty vertical line in between these 2 ideas. One thing that we're going to see as we look at all the kinds of simple sentences is that if we were to draw lines in between the subjects and the verbs, we will never have more than a single line drawn. And on that line, all of the subjects that are in a simple sentence will fall to the left of that vertical line. And all of the verbs that are in that simple sentence will fall to the right of that line. You can tell a simple sentence because you're not going to have an intermixing of subject doing a verb and then a subject doing a verb. It's one clean break between the subjects and the verbs. I would like you to make a homemade example of a simple sentence where you have one subject doing one verb. I'll show you an example of mine. In my example, I have one subject doing one verb. My subject is meowed, and the action that she's doing is sleeps. I guess it's actually in action. So my sentence is meowed sleeps all day. What's the verb? To sleep. Who's doing the sleeping? Meowed. There's a vertical line in between meowed and sleeps. I have a single subject doing a single predicate. Look at the second example. This is also a simple sentence, which is kind of confusing because if you look at my sentence, meow has been sleeping all day. I have that my verb, my single verb, is 3 words long. Has been sleeping, and I'm telling you that that's a single verb, and you're telling me I can't count, that I'm only an English teacher, and so math isn't really my thing. But I'm telling you, no, this is a simple verb, it's one verb, and here's how I can tell you. My main verb is sleeping. that's the main verb, and then it has what we call helping verbs with it. Has and been are just other little helping verbs helping the main verb. So this is an example of a simple sentence. One subject, me out, doing one verb, has been sleeping. It's your turn now to make a homemade example. So did you write your sample sentence of one subject doing one verb? When you do so, I want you to circle the verb and I want you to box the subject. So my sample was me out sleeps all day. I'll circle sleeps and I'll box me out. And so I have a subject doing a verb. The next kind of simple sentence is a little less simple. It's when we have two subjects that are both doing the same verb. So the example that I have for you is the student and his mother learned about simple sentences. First, we kill the prepositional phrase, bye-bye, about simple sentences. Next, I say, what's the verb? Learned. So I circle learned. I say, who's doing the learning? The student and the mother. And these two subjects are being distributed onto the same verb, like you would distribute a variable or a coefficient in math. So I have the student learned, and I have his mother learned. Put a vertical line, if possible, in between mother and learned. If I look at this, I can test to see if it's a simple sentence because I put a vertical line in between each subject and each verb. And in this case, there's only one time where I have a subject and a verb next to each other. So I have two subjects to the left of my line and one verb to the right. So I have two subjects doing one verb. Now, here's my example of a simple sentence with a compound subject. So I have two or more subjects doing the same action. Meout and Abigail love one another. So you can see if I draw a vertical line in between my subject and my verb, I only have one vertical line. So that's how I know this is a simple sentence. I could take this sentence and break it at that vertical line, and all of my subjects would be on the left, and all of my verbs, which only one verb this time, would be on the right. The second sentence is another example of a verb phrase where we have a main verb, love, with a helping verb, will. But it counts as a single verb. So this is a simple sentence with a compound subject. Now you make an original sentence in that box. Did you make your homemade sentence? After you make your homemade sentence, I want you to circle the verb, label it V. I want you to put boxes around your two subjects, label them S, and then I'd like to see a big, ugly vertical line in between the subjects and the single verb so you can see that it's a simple sentence. It expresses one thought. The next version of the simple sentence is when you have one subject that's doing multiple actions. So the criteria for a simple sentence with what we call a compound predicate is this. By the way, predicate is just another way of saying verb. Anyway, a simple sentence that has a single subject and a compound predicate would be this. It expresses only one complete thought again. It contains one subject, but it's doing two or more different actions together. And then lastly, when a reader reads that sentence, you're satisfied. You don't feel like you're left hanging. You don't have any questions about who did what, you're all good. You can see on the picture, it's a subject doing two different actions. Here's an example. His mother learned about simple sentences and taught them to her son. First thing I want to do is kill my prepositional phrases. About simple sentences is dead. To her son, sorry son, you is dead also. Ha ha, bad grammar on purpose. So now I say, okay, his mother learned and taught them. So I say, all right, what are the verbs of that sentence? Learned and taught. Who's doing the learning and teaching? Mama. So she's our subject. So I'm going to label my verbs, verb, and my subject, subject, and put a big old nasty line in between. So the example I show you of a simple sentence with a compound predicate, one subject doing two or more actions, are these. Meow yawns and snores. Meow has yawned and snored. Two examples again, one with simple predicates that have single main verbs and no helping verbs, and the second example does have a helping verb. But notice, there's a vertical line in between the subject and the verbs. But since there's only a single vertical line separating subjects from verbs, and the sentence can technically be broken in two pieces with the subject on one side and all of the actions on the other side, not interspersed with any other subjects, this is considered a simple sentence. You can break it right in half. So it's your turn. Please write an original example while Did you write your example yet? You need to have two verbs being done by only one subject. Mine says meowed, yawns, and snores. So I'll go ahead and circle my verbs, yawns, snores, and I'll label them V. I'll box my subject, meow, label it S, and put a big old ugly vertical line in between the two so I can see very clearly that if I broke this sentence in between the subject and the verbs, it would be a simple sentence because it says subject, verb, verb. There is no subject, verb, and then another subject doing another verb. Not happening. Now let's look at the final type. This is the most complicated simple sentence. It's a simple sentence that actually has a compound subject and a compound predicate. So multiple subjects and multiple verbs, but somehow it's still considered simple. Here's how we know. A simple sentence with a compound subject and a compound predicate expresses only one complete thought. I don't have two different things going on. It's not like Jerry is studying and Julie is reading. No. Jerry and Julie are studying and reading. They're two subjects or more doing two actions, and they're doing them together. And that's part B, which contains two or more subjects doing two or more different actions, but together. Let's add that word. They're doing two or more different actions together. Part C, the reader's satisfied, not left hanging, doesn't have questions. Our ingredients, subject and subject, doing verb and verb. But you can see that the subjects and the verbs, it's like an 8th grade dance. All the subjects are hanging out on that side, and all the verbs are hanging out at that side. Never shall the two meet. We're not having a good dance here. Let's take a look at the example sentence. The student and his mother learned about simple sentences and taught them to their cat. I might have an issue about cats. All right, let's delete prepositional phrases first. About simple sentences, to their cat. Then I say, okay, the student and his mother learned and taught them. Them referring to the simple sentences that I killed. So, I say, what are the verbs? Learned and taught. Twink, twink. Who's doing the learning and teaching? The student, the mother. So we have two subjects, two S's in a row, and then two V's in a row. Because they're separated, I can draw a vertical line in between the two sets completely. And I can break this sentence in half, and all the subjects are to the left of the line, and all the verbs are to the right. A simple sentence that contains both a compound subject and a compound predicate. Two or more subjects doing two or more verbs together. So I have Meowdy and the ferocious lion lay in the sun and dreamed of snacks. I say to myself, what are the verbs? Lay and dreamed. Who is doing the laying and the dreaming? Or the lying and the dreaming, rather. Meowdy and the lion. So both Meowdy and the lion are participating in both actions. If you cut the sentence in half, you'll have all your subjects to the left and all your verbs, actions, or rather inactions, again, to the right. Now you come up with a sentence, please. Did you write your sentence? Here's the one I showed you. Meow and the lion lay in the sun and dreamed of snacks. So I say, okay, what are the verbs? Lay, dreamed, those are my verbs. I say, who's doing the laying and the dreaming? Meowed and the lion, those are my subjects. Put a nice ugly vertical line between the two, and I can see that clearly this is still considered a simple sentence, even though it's pretty complicated for a simple sentence, but it's a simple sentence because there's not a mixing of subjects and verbs. All the subjects are to the left, all the verbs are to the right.